Well, that same year, as Biggie's working on his album, that was around the time that he meets Tupac. Cease used to talk about how Pac used to come around Brooklyn and hang out a little bit here and there.
Used to come hang out. That nigga came on Fulton Street a few times, hung out with us, you know what I mean? Kicked it. You know, that's why we were stuck on him. Like, yo, this is a real motherfucker, you know, because back in them times, Fulton Street was, and just to see somebody of his stature on Fulton Street, like, oh, you a real motherfucker, dog.
And Pac was already more seasoned than Big. Digital Underground, he had his album, everything else like that. At one point, Pac started hanging out with Haitian Jack, but you already knew Haitian Jack from before.
Yeah.
I guess you actually met him during a shootout.
Actually, it's like I said, you'll see it on the show, right? But it's interesting because the guy who my brother was working for, when I came home, I admired the guy before I went to prison, right? But he had nephews, and these nephews was drug dealers. We were stick-up kids, but the guy, Benny Thomas, he was a drug dealer, and his nephews was drug dealers. But there was some sort of friction between a guy who I grew up with on Fulton Street named Puma Lee, and one of their cousins, Benny Thomas' nephews, was named Cat. And those guys there's a crew up in the 90s in like going towards Flatbush, right? And it was the Cats versus the Puma Boys, right? They were arch enemies, right? And Puma Lee and their cousin Cat, they on Fulton Street. So it was a tension between those guys, my crew, and those guys because of that conflict. I admired these guys because they were drug dealers. I'm saying, man, they got all the girls. You know, I want to be a part of that. So I end up going to prison, right? No, before I go to prison, Puma Lee, it escalates, right? Right before I go to prison, they end up having a drop on me one day, right? That's something that escalated. They have me. They're getting ready to kill me, right? But somehow, some way, you'll see that I get away, right? I round up my crew from Fulton Street, and the next thing you know, on site, we walking down the street that night, going to get these dudes, and then all of a sudden, this crazy shootout happens, right? So for the next 2.5 weeks, it's on site every time we see each other. And just so happened, Haitian Jack was brought in. I don't know, because I didn't know Haitian Jack. I just knew that it was him and a big dude that he used to ride around with named Tim. And they, you know, they were friends with Inch and Haitian Jack and all of them from Flatbush in the 90s. And it just escalated. And every time we used to see each other, every time it was on site, shooting whatever it took. And years later, Scooter is the one who made us, stop beefing. And, and it was at a party in Atlanta that somebody threw for me.
Okay, so you and Haitian Jack became cool years later.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tupac, he meets Biggie, and he's in New York. I think he's filming Above the Rim,
mm-hmm.
and he's hanging out with Haitian Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie, I guess, warned Tupac
mm-hmm.
about Haitian Jack,
mm-hmm.
but Pac didn't really listen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rumor that you told Pac not to hang out with Haitian Jack, but he didn't listen.
Well, I used to tell Pac, but I say, I don't know if I think you're out of your league right now. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He had asked me about Jack. And I had known Jack through Scooter. And I used to say, you're out of your league.
You hang with the big boys now.
Yeah, you're out of your league.
And then a situation happened later that year. Well, I guess Biggie and his crew showed up to Pac's hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
They left some of their guns there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that same hotel room, that was when the whole sexual assault thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then when the police came and arrested everyone, they found Biggie's guns and everything else like that.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, Pac ends up getting hemmed up in this whole case along with Haitian Jack and some other guys and so forth.